Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. As we head into November, another Monday Night Football is upon us as Sunderland host Everton at the Stadium of Light for the first time since September 2016. The Black Cats have started wonderfully in their return to the top flight, sitting on the cusp of the Champions League spots after 5 wins from their opening 9 in the league. A dramatic 3 points were picked up last time out at the Bridge after a 93rd minute winner from Talby on the break. For the Toffees, they are currently slumped towards the lower end of the table as they have won just a third of their league games so far, and they came against Brighton, Wolves and most recently Crystal Palace on the 5th of October. They also suffered their first defeat at the New Hill Dickinson Stadium last Sunday as Spurs thumped them 3-0 with a Van de Ven double and a late third from Sarr. It was the 2016-2017 season when these last were both in the Premier League. It was a league double for Everton that season with a 3-0 away win in the September of 2016 and a win at Goodison in February 2017. Everton have in fact won the last 3 meetings after they beat Sunderland 3-0 at home again in the League Cup third round back in September 2017. So 8 years on since the last battle between Sunderland and Everton, who will manage themselves to treat themselves to another 3 very important Premier League points. Sunderland are off to a magnificent start, shocking pretty much everybody in the league under Regis Lebris, their 49-year-old French head coach, who is now taking charge of his 62nd game tonight. They've won 28 of the previous 60, and I think it just shows that as a newly promoted team, it's not always a problem to bring in a heavy amount of players. You know, they brought in so many players over the summer, I think around 14 altogether, and sometimes that can cause a bit of confusion between the squad in terms of settling those players in, getting them into the rhythm of the set way that Sunderland will play and the tactics and the style of play. But they've just brought in real good quality and they've settled in very quickly. And I think a main kind of link between a lot of the signings, especially the ones more so who are kind of doing pretty well, are either players who have played in Europe before, so like your Champions League, and also players that have just got Premier League experience. I mean, on the bench you've got Arthur Masuaku, who's formerly of West Ham, but he was at West Ham for a very long time. And you've got Simon Adingra, the young winger, but he spent the last couple of years at Brighton playing in the Premier League. And then you've got Brian Broby on the bench, who is of Ajax, who's played in the Champions League before. Don't get me wrong, he's never scored in the competition, but he's played 11 times in the competition, so he can't be that bad of a striker. And then you've got Nordi Mukiele at the back alongside Sherelle Gertruda. Again, 2 players who have played Champions League football before. Renildo, the left wing back, Champions League quality. Granit Xhaka goes without saying. So it just feels like a lot of the signings they brought in have been really clever signings, either with Premier League experience or high top quality European experience, and it's all come together for them. Unfortunately for Everton, it's kind of gone the other way for them. Currently 15th at the minute. If they win, they can go as high as 12th, but they've won just 1 of their last 7 in all competitions, and that was their win at the start of last month against Crystal Palace, that late win against the Eagles. So the form has to change, and it's probably the last place you want to go at the moment in terms of, you know, wanting to try and pick up some form. Sunderland are on such a high at the moment and probably feel like they haven't got too much to lose, really. They've already picked up 18 points, and I really do think, you know, another 18 in the rest of the season and they probably survive. You know, don't get me wrong, Sunderland are probably looking a bit higher than finishing outside the relegation zone at the moment, but, you know, safety will be the absolute, you know, minimum right now, and they'll very happily take that. And like I say, for Everton, it's kind of, they want to start pushing into the top half again. The last time they finished in the top half was 10th back in 2021, but I mean, you know, last season they finished 13th, season before that 15th, then 17th, then 16th, then 10th, then 12th, and then 8th, back to back from 2017 to 2019. So it's been a good solid 6 or 7 years since Everton have been anywhere close to kind of the European spots, and you know, they'll want this season to be the season they can try and push on, try and get European football at their new stadium as well, which would be a real sight to see. But just a bit of a slow start so far this season. Just one win away from home, and that was against Wolves back at the end of August. Just one of them where it's a bit of a tricky one to really judge for Everton. They've got a pretty slim squad altogether. They've kind of got all their senior players in the squad already. There's not much depth beyond what they've got in the matchday squad tonight, especially in terms of any added quality. We will go through both starting 11s very shortly in a bit more detail. It does look like Everton as well are in their away kit tonight. I know I've got them in blue on the screen. It looks like they're in their black away kit. And I do believe this is Jordan Pickford's first time playing against Sunderland. When they last came here, when they played here before, he was still at Sunderland. He joined Everton in 2017, and that was the last time Sunderland were in the Premier League. He signed for £30 million. So it will be the first time Pickford comes onto this pitch as an opposition player, which will be really interesting. So both sets of players arrive onto the pitch at Stadium of Light. We'll go through the starting 11s now. As it is, so that was Sunderland, no changes, which is no surprise from their win away at Stamford Bridge, and it will be Robin Roofs to remain in goal, their new signing from the Eredivisie, who have took the position of Anthony Patterson in goal. It looks like it will be a back five once more of Trey Hume at right wing back. On the left hand side will be Renildo, who they brought in on a free from Atletico Madrid in the summer. And then three centre halves of Nordic Mukiele, who scored in Sunderland's last home game, which was their 2-0 win against Wolves. And alongside him will be Lucharel Gertrude, who's making his second start of the season in the league in their back-to-back against Everton tonight and Chelsea last week. And also alongside him is Dan Ballard, who's making his 97th Sunderland appearance. Two central midfielders of Granit Xhaka and Noah Siddiqui, and then three up front. On the right-hand side will be Bertrand Traore. On the left is Enzo Lefebvre, and through the middle, leading the line, is Wilson Isidore, who's on 4 Premier League goals so far this season. He hadn't scored in his previous 3 before scoring that equaliser at Stamford Bridge last weekend. And for Everton, just the one change from their defeat at home to Spurs, and that is up front. But we'll get on to that in very shortly, as it will be Pickford in goal, who's now made well over 300 appearances for Everton in the Premier League. A back four of Jake O'Brien, James Tarkowski, the captain, Michael Keane, and at left back will be Vitaly Mykolenko, who's making his 6th start in a row in the Premier League. Two older midfielders of James Garner, who's coming up towards a century of appearances for the club. He'll play alongside Idrissa Gueye, who scored just the once so far this season, and that was in the Merseyside derby at Anfield in the middle of September. 3 behind the striker on the right will be Iliman Ndiaye, who's making his 49th appearance for the club. On the left, it will be Jack Grealish, who's making his 199th Premier League appearance. And in the number 10 position will be the number 22, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, who's making his 225th professional club appearance. And through the middle, their only change sees Beto drop to the bench as Tierno Barry comes in, yet to score for his new club since signing for £27 million from Villarreal, but he did score plenty last season in La Liga, and he'll be wanting to keep the goals coming this season, but he's yet to get off the mark. He'll be hoping to do that very, very soon, as it will be Everton in their away kit, a little bit of a blue and yellow kind of zigzag stripes going across, and of course Sunderland in their usual black and white tops with the black shorts. As kick-off is coming up very shortly. As Sunderland, with a win, could go to second. A draw would put them 4th. So, as long as they avoid defeat, it will be back in the Champions League places for Regis Liberis' side, who go into the game 7th after, of course, everyone else in the league have already played over the weekend. It will be Everton to kick us off. They'll be kicking left to right for this first half. Sunderland right to left, as it'll be James Garner to get us underway, going all the way back to Pickford, who's back at Sunderland for the first time, kicking it long in towards the 18-yard box where the header will be won by Barry. It drops to Garner. He strikes early and it's just gone wide. Left-footed towards the bottom left corner. That is inches away. It was a well-won header there by Barry. It deflected off the leg of Xhaka. And first time, around 22 or so yards out, James Garner hits it first time. Caught it sweetly. And it just went wide of that left-hand post. Don't think Robin Roofs would have got there if it was on target. James Garner looking for his second goal of the season in the Premier League. He's not scored since game week 2 in their 2-0 home win to Brighton. Almost a perfect start for the Toffees, who have got off to a pretty lacklustre start so far this season with just 3 wins from their opening 9 games. But it's now Sunderland with their first spell of possession on the ball after that early scare from James Garner. As it's with their central centre-back of Dan Ballard. Came through the Arsenal Academy before leaving to join Sunderland permanently in 2022 as they've won the ball back in the Sunderland half there, Everton on the far side. As they go back towards the halfway line to Mikalenko. It's now James Garner. Quick 1-2 with Mikalenko. No pressure on him at the moment for the former Manchester United midfielder. Quick 1-2 with Grealish. Just playing some simple passes to keep the ball moving. It's now Dewsbury Hall still on this Everton left as they advance towards the final third. Mikalenko forced to go back towards Garner. Going to try and switch it towards the right. It's Adrisagay now to captain Tarkovsky. He will be closed down by Lefay. Tries to find O'Brien. Cut out by Renildo. Throwing midway inside the Sunderland half for Everton on this near side. Just 1 win from their last 7 in all competitions for David Moyes' side. They've only scored 4 in their last 6 Premier League games. Everton scoring away at Anfield and then scoring once at home against West Ham and then twice at home to Crystal Palace. So they're not exactly scoring loads of goals at the moment, despite bagging a good handful at the start of the season. Still with Everton. Over 2.5 minutes in, just the one chance, and it was 10 seconds in through James Garner, who almost struck into the bottom left corner pretty much from kick-off as he lifts it down the right-hand side to Ndiaye. Tackled by Renildo strongly, and it's now Sunderland on the ball with their left centre half of Gertrude into the midfield to Siddiqui. Midway inside his own half, forced to go back to the goalkeeper of Robin Roofs, who signed a 5-year deal in the summer. I think Sunderland fans would have been slightly confused with the signing because Anthony Patterson has been their number 1 for a good few seasons now and is usually quite reliable as Ballard slips as he plays it to his right and he just about gets the help there from his teammate of Mukiele, because if the Frenchman didn't recover there, Grealish could have been in down the left-hand side. Just a slightly nervy bit of play there from Sunderland, but yeah, he's been a revelation in goal for the Black Cats. Robin Roofs. Really impressed when I've seen him play as he diagonally switches it towards the right-hand side. Free header there for Mikalenko. Touched down by Grealish, but only as far as Lefay. Last touch off an Everton player. Sunderland ball on the far side. And they start on the halfway line with Dan Ballard, born in Stevenage, but does represent Northern Ireland at international level. Been playing for them now for well over 5 years. Made his debut in September 2020. Scored 5 goals for his country. It's over 4 minutes in. Still goalless at the Stadium of Light. 6th biggest football ground in England. Holding just under 49,000. It's Renildo advancing down the left-hand side. Garner comes across a slowing down. Turns to face the opposite way from goal. But keeps it moving to Lefay. Now the number 6, Gertrude, on loan from RB Leipzig for the season. He's played 14 times in the Champions League, 8 for Leipzig, and a 6 set of appearances for Feyenoord as well. Goes across into the centre circle to Ballard, being closed down by Dewsbury Hall. Works it to the far side to Traore, lays it off for Mukiele, then a pass forward. Brilliant play. Here's Trey Hume, who will play it into the area for Isidore. Back to goal, turns. Forced away from goal by Tarkovsky. Now towards the corner flag. He works it to Traore. Skips beyond Grealish. Hume to Isidore. Trying to pull it back. Well blocked away. Loose ball drops to Grealish. Goes inside to Dewsbury Hall. Takes it on the turn really well. And works himself away from Mukiele, then tries to get it in behind for Barry. Well cut out by Gertrude, and Roofs moves it on, and Sunderland defend the counter-attack pretty well in the end. Some silky skills from Dewsbury Hall in the midfield to set them away. Just the one goal so far for Dewsbury Hall. He picked up an assist in the same game in that win away at Wolves, their only win so far this season away from home. Long ball from Tarkovsky, header won by Ballard, midway inside his own half, gets the ball returned to him by Siddiqui. It's the home side on the ball. Just looking to settle after a pretty scrappy opening 6 minutes to this game. Lifted ball forward towards Lefay. Chested touch just gets away from him, can be seen out for a throw-in by James Garner. His contract does expire at the end of this season for Everton. He's been here now since September 2022. He's featured in every game so far this season in all competitions. Playing a couple of times at left back, whilst Vitaly Mikalenko was making his return from injury towards the start of the season. O'Brien with a loose touch. The clearance goes up in the air towards Xhaka. Can't quite beat Idrissa to the ball. It's now Dewsbury Hall. Works it to the left wing to Grealish. Takes it beyond the halfway line. Dewsbury Hall's continued his run down the line. He'll find him. Here is the former Chelsea man. Away from Mukiele. Cross goes low and Njai hits the first time. Deflects back to him. He laid off to Idrissa on once more to Barry, who shoots. It's blocked by Gertrude. And it'll loop over here to O'Brien, who starts on the halfway line with Tarkovsky. Everton with the biggest chances so far in the game in the opening 7 minutes. Vital block there as Iliman Njai was looking for his 4th Premier League goal. Just one in his last 6, and that was in that last victory at home to Crystal Palace. Dewsbury Hall again just drifting out towards that far side. Idrissa finds Michael Keane. Spent 11 years coming through at Manchester United before joining Burnley. Tarkovsky, diagonal ball into the box, and in the corner of the box, Roofs is there to catch. Confident goalkeeping in the all-yellow kit tonight. The Dutchman, 6'4", started to make the Netherlands national squads. Named in the team for the September and October international break. Didn't play, but he was on the bench for the 4 games over those 2 breaks against Poland, Lithuania, Malta and Finland. And only at the age of 22, I'm sure he'll get his fair share of appearances for the Dutch national team. 8 minutes in, still goalless. It's Everton who have looked more likely to score in the opening exchanges as they win the ball back again in the midfield. It seems like they're winning that battle early on. Here's Idrissa try to slot it through for Njai, who's making a run towards the centre of the pitch. Gay played it out wide, and Sunderland can deal with it. Still going. A veteran now, Idrissa who returned for his 2nd spell at the club in September 2022, joining for £2 million from PSG. 36 years of age now, the Senegalese international, who won Player and Player of the Year for Everton last season. The only game he missed in the Premier League last campaign was Leicester away in the middle of September. And again this season, he's played every Premier League game so far, completing 6 full 90 minutes. As Ballard goes for a big switch out to the left wing position. O'Brien wins the first header. Njai gets the second contact. He's now back with O'Brien in the right back position. Forward to Garner. He's allowed to turn. The Sunderland press just seems a little disjointed in the opening 10 minutes so far. Everton finding it rather easy to find their midfield in a bit of space and to give them time on the ball as well. I think the difference for Everton last season was the fact that they were well away from the relegation zone, which hasn't always been the case in recent campaigns. They were 23 points off the drop, but they were 8 points off the top half. So, it's progress in terms of they're looking more up than they are down these days. But again, David Moyes will be certainly aiming for that top half finish come the end of the season. As Tarkovsky's been made to go backwards here. It's now Pickford midway inside his own half. He'll switch it out to the left-hand side, looking for Grealish. Hume wins the first header, but Dewsbury Hall picks up the second ball, but then he gives it away looking for Mikalenko, well won back by Bertrand Traore. It's now Xhaka. Goes to his left to Siddiqui, moves it on for Lefay. Touch inside is a bit loose, but he tackles the ball off Garner. And it's now Ronaldo. Slows it down. Plays it back into Lefay, the man they brought in from Roma last season on loan and then made it a permanent signing in the summer. And they've just slowed the game down here on the halfway line with Siddiqui, the number 27 in midfield. Now Ballard at the back. Dewsbury coming to press slowly. Still on the halfway line with Mukiele. Down the line for Traore. Takes a touch, tries to get around Mikalenko. The Ukrainian says no. And Keane, off balanced, kicks it out left-footed. Out of play for Sunderland, throwing in the Everton half on that far side. We're still goalless here at the Stadium of Light. But for Sunderland, there was a huge 3 points last weekend against Chelsea. Went behind 4 minutes into Garnacho, then equalised in the 22nd minute from a long throw-in, and then the 93rd minute on the break. Shamsdeen Salbi scored his first goal in a Sunderland shirt. With some really good hold-up play in the box, though, by Brian Broby, who's on the bench as well for Sunderland, keeping the ball away from Chalobah. And first time, he almost just passed it into the bottom corner, Talby. It was, I'd say, a bit of a smash and grab, really. But when you go into a team like Chelsea, who, can play really good football, you've just got to stay focused for the full 90 minutes and take your chance when they come, as Xhaka gives a chance for Everton. Njai picks it up on the halfway line after a loose pass. It's now Barry. Try to slot it through back for Njai, but the pass is cut out by Gertrude, and he kicks it off Barry. And that'll be a throw-in a left wing-back position for the Black Cats. Unlike Granit Xhaka, who's returned to the Premier League after a 2-year getaway into the Bundesliga, where he'd made 99 appearances for Leverkusen. Of course, won the double in his first season, winning the Bundesliga and the Cup as well. Could have been a treble, but they lost the Europa League final pretty comfortably in the end to Atalanta under Gasperini, who's now in charge of Roma. But it's definitely Everton so far who've looked like most likely to score. Sunderland haven't really caused Pickford to do anything. Like I say, 10 seconds in, Garner had a shot which was always just bending away from goal, but it wasn't far away at all. From the Birkenhead-born midfielder, James Garner. Didn't play as much as he would have wanted to last season due to a back injury, which he picked up around this time. He was out from October to January. High ball up for Sunderland. Michael Keane doesn't know where it's dropped, and Traore will give it a go on the edge of the area, and it's gone high and wide. Another person returning to the Premier League, Bertrand Traore, £2.5 million signing from Ajax. Tidy a little bit of business. He spent 4 years at Aston Villa, left in 2024, scored 10 in 62. And he's only ever faced Sunderland himself once, and that was as a late sub for Chelsea in a 3-2 away defeat here at the Stadium of Light in May 2016. A season where Sunderland just avoided the drop in 17th. Pickford with a big goal kick out to the Everton right. Header won by Lefay, held up by Isidore, who seems like he's getting his first few touches of the ball, but loses out after a misplaced touch, and it's now with O'Brien at right back. Down the line for Njai. Gets there ahead of Ronaldo. Then Garner through for Barry. Takes a touch away from Ballard. Facing forward. Not much support around him as he's been tackled by Siddiqui. But then he wins it back there, Barry. Fairly according to the referee. It's Njai running towards goal. Skips beyond one. And a second. And a third. And a fourth. And the shot. That is simply brilliant. Iliman Njai doing what he does best. Twinkle toes. No one could get near him. It's his 4th goal of the season in the league. The last time he scored was in their last victory at home to Crystal Palace around a month ago. And he's given them a deserved lead in the opening 15 minutes. Everton have been the much better side in terms of chances created. Looking at a foul in the build-up from Barry on Siddiqui. Not for me. Ballard tried to get it. Xhaka did. Gertrude. So did Mukiele. None of them got tight enough. And Njai just danced his way through. And into the left-hand side of the goal it went. So agile. That low centre of gravity. And he's just about bent it into the left side of the goal. It's absolutely brilliant. Side netting. Not to scare or worry Everton supporters, but I don't think Iliman Ndiaye will be there for the rest of his career. He's looking to hit heights that might be slightly above Everton's future. He should be playing European football. That is fantastic. On his 49th appearance for the club, he scores his 15th goal. And that is magic. And Everton lead at the Stadium of Lights. It's Sunderland 1, it's Sunderland 0, Everton 1. Just ticking over the 16th minute. And it has been Everton with the chances. We had the Garner shot within about 10 seconds of the game. And just from there, they've just been slowly creeping closer to the Sunderland goal, getting shots off here and there. And again, I just feel like they're getting the better of the Sunderland press as the goal-scoring Ndiaye gives it away, but then wins it straight back. No foul according to the referee, Thomas Bramall, as there's a challenge late there as the Everton player cleared it. And it's going to be a yellow card. Just needs to get control of the game here, the referee. Didn't quite see who put the challenge on the Everton player. Yeah, it was Noah Siddiqui. He was number 27. I've got him as number 20 on my screen. Yeah, Ndiaye lost it and then won it back off Siddiqui. And then I think out of frustration, Siddiqui wasn't happy. He didn't win the foul. So then went in really strong on James Garner. Complete frustration from the 20-year-old. And it probably is just about a yellow card. But Ranildo at the moment just having a chat with the DR Congo international. Just telling him to relax, keep his head up. It's early on in the game. But he will have to be careful now, Noah Siddiqui, on that yellow card. It's his 4th yellow card of the season. One more, and that will be a 1-game ban. A lot of thinking for Regis Lebris to do. As I think there's been another yellow card. Nordi Mukiele now in the book. As the referee tries to have a discussion here with Granit Xhaka. The Frenchman heavily protesting his innocence. Not happy that he's just been booked. Maybe for giving a little bit too much mouth. Not too sure, but 2 yellow cards there for Sunderland players. As frustration just brews over a little bit after having a pretty poor start to the game, really. Everton switched on and with the lead. So with their goalkeeper Robin Roofs, first club outside of the Netherlands for the 22-year-old. Plays it to his right to Ballard. Back to Roofs. Keeping hold of it. No press on him at the moment. Goes to his right to Ballard. And then Hume out wide right to Mukiele. And then back into Ballard. Finds Gertrude, who joined Leipzig in the summer of 2024 for around £20 million. Joining from Feyenoord. Obviously didn't quite work out for him last season. Scoring the 1 league goal for them in a home game against Freiburg in late October. Yeah, Mukiele booked for just talking in a bit of an aggressive manner to the referee. I think it's a bit harsh to give him a yellow card there. He kind of walked away when he was told to. Maybe just the referee trying to assert his dominance in the game. Thomas Bramall in his mid-30s, the referee. made his Premier League debut in August 2022 in a game between Fulham and Brighton. Over 20 minutes in here, it's Sunderland 0, Everton 1, Iliman Ndiaye with a goal. Brilliantly taken by the Senegalese international. Sunderland are giving it away again. Garner down the right-hand side to Barry in the final third. Not much support with him. He has to go back here into O'Brien, who's forward from full-back. And then back once more in front of the halfway line, Tarkowski. Into a more central area as he gets the ball forward to Ndiaye. Then into the centre circle to Gay. 15-yard pass to his left to Mykolenko. Works it to Grealish, running at Hume, onto the right foot. Can he take on his man? Plays a pass into Idrissa Gay. Switching it to the right to O'Brien. 25 yards out, thought about the cross. Goes into the middle instead to Tarkowski. Gay around the corner. Can't quite be kept by Garner. It's now Siddiqui who's on a yellow card. Holding the ball up, finding Lefay. Now Ballard. In between the lines, finding right wing back Hume. Well played from Sunderland, but then the pass is short. Can't find Traore. Mykolenko drills it into Grealish. Everton want a second. Grealish running at goal. Plays it into the box down the left for Dewsbury Hall. Dinks it in. Ndiaye's on the floor. He heads it backwards though whilst on the deck to O'Brien. Inside to Idrissa Gay. Once more to his left to Grealish. Shoots from the edge of the area. He's at the post. Cannons out to Dewsbury Hall. Recycles it in. It's a dangerous looking ball headed away. Sunderland need to wake up. Everton are all over them. And whilst they are, they need to try and add another goal. And they nearly did there with Grealish. Just kind of drifted inside into a more central area. Had the shot. Again around 22 yards out. Through the legs of Xhaka. Kind of shot back towards goal. To the bottom left-hand corner. And Roofs was scrambling. As O'Brien throws it in long into the box. Tarkowski heads it on. Drops to Dewsbury Hall, whose shot is blocked and it goes up in the air. Ronaldo miscues the header. But it'll fall to Gertrude, who kicks it long. Sees Isidore up there with only Mykolenko to defend him. And Mykolenko's defended it really well, heading it back towards Pickford, who's done very little so far in the game, and David Moyes will like that. Pickford's had a pretty quiet opening 22 and a half minutes as he returns to Sunderland after coming through the ranks here and spending 15 years of his early career at the club, making 35 appearances, keeping the 5 clean sheets. As it's now Sunderland back on the ball, well won back by Gertrude. Lefay into the middle to Hume, back and out wide right to Mukiele. Into the Everton half we go over pass to Traore. Goes to his left to Siddiqui, who didn't quite read the pass, and it's picked up by Barrett. All over the place early on here, Sunderland. Idrissa Gay finds Grealish down the left-hand side. Dewsbury Hall's making that advanced run again, and he'll play it to him. He cuts it back, but he can't get enough power on it. Cut out by Ballard. Sunderland just not quite connecting as a team early on. And Everton have made the most of it with the 1 goal. They need to try and score a couple more if they want a serious chance of winning this game. Lefay, first time pass round the right-hand side. He's overhit it. Throwing just inside their own half here for the Toffees. The last time these two sides met was in that third round League Cup meeting in 2017. 3-0 win for Sunderland, for Everton, sorry. 2 goals from Calvert-Lewin and 1 from Niasse. At the time, it was Ronald Koeman in charge of Everton and Simon Grayson at Sunderland. As you might famously remember them starting and finishing, to be fair, that documentary when they went from the Premier League to the Championship, but then from the Championship to League One. But they have risen from the ruins of the third tier and they're back in the Premier League, but they're experiencing how difficult the top flight can be. Ndiaye on the right-hand side. Ronaldo on his back, bringing him down, and the referee will give the free kick. He needs to be careful as well. The left wing back. Already sent off this season at home, Ronaldo, against Aston Villa. His first game back was last weekend against Chelsea. So it's a free kick on this near side. It's about 10 or 15 yards in the Sunderland half, but looks like they might try and launch this in towards the 18-yard box with James Garner. In it goes. He's aiming for Michael Keane, but Roofs is out to catch confidently, then kick it out of his hands. It's a huge kick towards Isidore. Pickford will get there and slam that away deep and far into the Sunderland stand on the far side. And it'll be thrown midway inside the Everton half for Sunderland, who won only 2 of their last 8 home games last season, including the playoffs, losing 4 at home. But they did lose the last 3 at home before the playoffs, all 1-0 against QPR, Blackburn and Swansea. Lost 5 in a row altogether before they went into that playoff campaign, where they got the better of Coventry and then Sheffield United in the final. So it's going to be a long throw-in, something that all Premier League sides seem to be using. In it goes, header won by Keane, but there's a foul in the area on Mikalenko as it was launched into the box. And it'll be a free kick. Sunderland 0, Everton 1, 26 and a half minutes in. Superb goal that. It was. It really was from Iliman Ndiaye. And that's what he can do. Brought in from Marseille last season. Just under £17 million. Seems like a right steal. He scored 9 goals last season in the league, and he's already on 4 for this season. Did score a brace against Southampton in the last game at Goodison Park. It's Sunderland on the ball at the back with Gertrude. Goes across to Ballard. Forward into the midfield. Trey Hume. Poor touch. Gay wins it back. Barry chops it back into Dewsbury Hall. It's now Garner out to the left for Grealish. In the corner of the box. On the left-hand side. Delivers it in and Barry misses. From about a yard out. Still searching for his first Everton goal. He was put on a plate. And he's not been able to finish it. Moyes, with a slightly frustrated look on his face, again comes from a Sunderland misplaced touch from Trey Hume. Barry got it to Dewsbury Hall in a central area. And then Garner to Grealish. Barry taking a position up at the far post. And the cross went in. It's perfect from Grealish. And as he's latching onto it, it's just bounced in front of him and he's not been able to keep it down. He's quite simply got to score there. Tierno Barry. He's not scored yet this season, and Beto on the bench has only scored once in the league. And that was at the end of August against Wolves in their 3-2 win. So they are struggling to find a number 9 who can score their goals. And he probably should have got on there, Tierno Barry. He's got the number 11 shirt. Beto's got the number 9. Plenty of let-offs early on for Sunderland. Again, it just seems all a bit disconnected and concentration doesn't seem fully there sometimes, with passes going to players that aren't expecting the passes or aren't quite ready for them. But I think for them, as long as they can keep it at 1-0, they'll always be in the game. They just can't let it get any further on. There's Granit Xhaka finds a ball down the left-hand side into the box for Lefebvre. First time ball into the box, far post, Traore miskicks it. Goes straight through him. And Grealish finds Gate. Looking for Dewsbury Hall, who can't quite beat Ballard to it. Slides it forward. It bounces into the area and into the gloves of Jordan Pickford in his full green kit tonight for the Toffees. Better ball that from Grealish. O'Brien was sucked in by the movement from Siddiqui. Ndiaye tried to cover, but Lefebvre got the cross in. And it was a bit of a kick into the air by Traore. With James Garner, midway side zone half, goes forward into Idrissa Gueye, former PSG man. Halfway line's O'Brien at right back. He's being told to jog on from Moyes, get into a bit more of an advanced position. It's now with Michael Keane, who's got the 1 goal himself this season. That was in the draw at the back end of September against West Ham. Nuno Espirito Santos' first game in charge of the Hammers. Picked up his first win at the weekend against Newcastle. Grealish skips beyond Trey Hume like he's not even there. Driving inside into a central area. Works it to his right to Gay. Forced to go back to Tarkowski. And then across to Keane. Looking very settled in the game early on the visitors. Mykolenko. No one has won here so far this season. Everton looking the first to do that. Grealish. Out wide left now is Garner. Back into Grealish, number 18 for Everton. On loan from Manchester City. Dewsbury Hall, first time pass looking for the return of Grealish. Misplaced. And it's now with Sunderland. Siddiqui. Fouled late by Tierno Barry. And he'll go in the book this time. Proper striker's challenge from the 23-year-old, who's probably just slightly frustrated after that miss from a couple of yards out around 5 minutes ago. Siddiqui, just a bit of a heavy touch, but nothing too major. Barry just thought he could nick it, and he didn't. And he fouled his man. It's a yellow card for the striker. 31.5 minutes in. It's still Sunderland 0, Everton 1 at the Stadium of Light. Everton have won the last 3 fixtures in a row, which date back to 2016 and 2017. Ballard quickly shifting it across to the left to Gertrude. Forward into Renildo. He's got Idrissa Gueye on him. And he kicks it out for a Sunderland throw-in. Still got that energy, Idrissa Gueye. Made over 200 appearances now for Everton in the Premier League. On 9 goals for them in all competitions in his career at the Toffees. Lefay. In between the lines to Siddiqui. Xhaka. Not loads of obvious options. He gets it out wide left to Renildo. Touches slightly away from him. And he can keep it in, though, towards the corner flag, where he's lost out to O'Brien. Renildo goes down, holding his face. Seems very dramatic. As the play has been paused. Renildo looking for any blood that may have come from that hit in the face. Let's have a look. Renildo had it in the corner flag. Oh, he got a slight arm to the face as O'Brien was putting his arm across just to kind of defend the ball. That is, embarrassing to say the least from Renildo. Bit of Diego Simeone play acting from the former Atletico man. That red card he picked up at home to Villa meant he missed the Forest, Man United and Wolves game, Renildo, and then returned back for Chelsea. As Ballard clears away as Dewsbury Hall was trying to bear down on goal. Tarkowski has to clear over his head. Flicked on by Njai. Out for a Sunderland throw-in just inside the Everton half on this near side. Just 1 win in the last 4 for Sunderland, and that was a 3-0 home win back in May 2016. That's when Allardyce was the manager of Sunderland and Martinez the manager of Everton. Van Aanholt scored once for Sunderland, and Lamine Kone, the centre-half, scored twice in that one, which helped Sunderland stay up dramatically that campaign. Idrissa Gueye in a left-back position, sliding in and winning the ball back, but then losing it to Xhaka. Siddiqui. 5-yard pass was left to Renildo. Not loads on for him, so forced to go back to Gertrude. Xhaka. In the middle of the park, dictating play, or trying to anyway. Lifts it to the left to Siddiqui. Into the middle to Renildo, allowed to turn. Working it back out wide to Lefay. Giving time to get onto his right foot. Playing it edge of the area to Xhaka, who then crosses in off the head of Keane. Still in the area. Traore with a volley. Cleared off Mykolenko, helped away by Gueye. Header won by Ballard on Barry. And it's now Gertrude at Sunderland trying to build some sort of promise in attack, something they've not really been able to do for the opening 35 minutes. Traore on the left foot, lifting it in to the far post. It's a volley by O'Brien. All as far as Sadiq, you can't control. Gertrude strikes. And over the bar it goes. Still Sunderland 0, Everton 1. Looking for his first goal in Sunderland colours. Shirel Gertrude. He started his first game for Sunderland last weekend against Chelsea, and he's kept his spot for this Monday night football. Caught it sweetly on his right foot. Probably just a bit too sweetly. Didn't quite dip down in time. And it remains Sunderland 0, Everton 1. Lost their first 4 Premier League games last season. Everton, under Sean Dyche, losing to Brighton, Spurs, Bournemouth and Aston Villa, but then went on and only lost 1 of their next 8. Dyche was sacked after a 4-0 defeat to Wolves, left him in 15th. They finished 13th last campaign, Everton, never went any higher during the season. With this win, they'll put themselves up to 12th, as it stands. Sunderland will stay in a healthy 7th, even without picking up any points this evening. Sunderland playing it around the back again with Gertrude. It's near side to Lefay. Right in front of his head coach, Regis Lebris. Came through at Lorient before joining Sunderland. Took charge of their under-19s and their B team and then their first team. Now he's at the Black Cats in the Premier League as there's shouts for handball as the ball went in the box for Sunderland. Everton was trying to scramble it away. It's got them penned back it. Everton slightly against the ropes. Sadiq going across into a more central area to Ballard just in front of the centre circle. Out wide right it goes to Mukiele, bringing the ball inside. Everyone behind the ball for Everton. Sadiq. Garner closing him down. Ballard again to the right wing. Traore onto the left foot, then onto his right, beats Mikalenko easily, low ball goes in. Cleared first time by Keane, all as far as Xhaka. Probably the best spell Sunderland have had in the game. And they'll want to try and work Pickford if possible. Gertrude takes on Barry. Lays it off for Ronaldo. He's in a central midfield position, the wing back. He's now to the right hand side to Mukiele. Edge of the area to Ronaldo. Lays it off for Xhaka. First time pass to Lefay. Does he fancy the shot? He'll slip it through instead for Isidore. Well tackled by Keane. Vital interception. Njai in a right back position. Loses out. And it's a throw in for Everton. Had to get there, Michael Keane. Isidore was onside. He came across quickly, got the tackle in. Covering at the moment for the injured Jared Branthwaite. He's really the only big senior miss for Everton, and he is a big one as well. His partnership with Tarkowski, usually so strong. Kept 12 clean sheets last season, Everton, but only 3 in their last 15 as Branthwaite picked up his injury. 6 minutes to go till the break. Everton still lead by goal to 0 at Stadium of Light. Long ball forward towards Barry. Battling with Ballard. Gertrude helps him out, but the loose touch drops to Idrissa Gueye. Now Barry kicking it forward for Idrissa Gueye, who's tackled by Mukiele. And then he also caught the Frenchman as the former PSG man got the ball. He stays down Mukiele in pain as he wins his side the free kick. I don't think Idrissa Gueye goes in the book for that. Started with Barry. Tried to win it off Ballard, then Gertrude a tackle, but the heavy touch went to Idrissa Gueye, who was found by Barry. Idrissa Gueye seemed just onside. Mukiele got across, kicked the ball away, and then, of course, instead of getting a touch to the ball, Idrissa Gueye caught his man instead. Could they maybe nick one before the break? Sunderland, which might seem harsh on Everton, but that's the Premier League world that we live in. It's unforgiving. Isidore nearly slipped through into the box. Too much on it. Pickford's ball instead. Recently signed a new contract with Everton a couple of weeks ago until 2029. He's the second most capped England goalkeeper, currently on 80, with 41 clean sheets. A couple of sliding challenges going in, and it eventually drops for Sunderland now with Trey Hume. Ballard forward to Xhaka, allowed to turn in the centre circle. Going towards the right side to Traore. First time ball here for Hume. Mukiele's also joining in. Played inside. Edge of the area. Gets the left-footed shot off. It's blocked by Keane. Drops to Dewsbury Hall, who goes down. So does Xhaka, and it's a Sunderland free kick. And it's played quickly to Traore. Running at Mykolenko in the box. Gets beyond him. Tries the shot. Again tackled by Keane. Vital defending from their number 5 in the last couple of moments. It's now on the Everton left. Barry. Back heeling it towards Dewsbury Hall. Not enough on it. Now back with Sunderland on the halfway line with Ronaldo. Forced to go out towards the left flank. Lefay. Into the middle again for Xhaka. Everyone behind the ball. Once more for Everton. Siddiqui. Across to his right to Ballard. Who scored on the first game of the season. Here against West Ham. Gertrude. Into Lefay on the left wing. Currently 1-on-1 with Njai. Goes down the line to Siddiqui. Keeps it away from O'Brien. Goes down over the challenge of the Irishman. Is it seen as a foul? No, says the referee. Just not strong enough there. Noah Siddiqui. Throwing for Everton with Jake O'Brien. Cork-born fullback. Made his debut for Ireland in June 2024. He's got 11 caps for his country. Joined from Lyon last season. Didn't really get much game time under Deitch. Wasn't exactly liked, even though he was a Deitch signing. He only made 2 appearances in the opening 19 Premier League games. He wasn't injured. If he didn't play, he was just sat on the bench. But as soon as Moyes came in, he kind of adapted him into a right back, and he's kind of stayed there since. Sunderland are really looking to get this equaliser before half-time. Hume crosses in towards the near post, cleared by Mykolenko with a volley. Throw-in for the home side, midway inside the Everton half. It looks like it will be a long throw-in from Nordi Mukiele. It's going to be a long throw from the Frenchman. In it goes. Header won by Keane, who's had a very solid start to the game. Back to Mukiele, who crosses with the right boot towards Ballard, who gets there. Helped on, headed away to Njai, who can't quite take on Lefay. He'll recycle the cross, punched by Pickford. Volley from Traore, cleared by O'Brien. Chaos to end the first half at the Stadium of Light. Almost for Sunderland. Michael Keane with the original header away. Cross back in by Mukiele, where Ballard won the header. Dropped towards Ronaldo, and another interception and an intervention by Keane. Looks like Ronaldo wanted to kick it home, but Keane got his head to it. And eventually it was worked away. Traore. Header one on Gay, but decks him to the floor. It looks like a bit of a heavy contact there on Adrissagate. He just lay flat on his back, just about leans himself up. And then back to his feet. Closing in on hitting 45 minutes exactly, so we could find out how long we'll have added on. So free kick right on the halfway line for Tarkowski. 2 minutes added on by the fourth official, Tony Harrington, towards Barry, comes off the back of the head of Gertrude, then volleyed away by Siddiqui. Isidore will chase it. He's had a very quiet first half, the striker. It's Tarkowski, goes back to Pickford. It's a poor ball away from goal. Pickford keeps it in, and on the corner flag, he clears right-footed. That's how far wide he was sent. Header won, though, by Ronaldo. Second header won by Idrissa Gueye. Third header won by Dewsbury Hall. And eventually it's on the floor, with the feet being used by Mikalenko. Pickford, first time clearance away, taking no prisoners up towards Barry. Header won by Ballard, controlled by Hume, but always finds Mikalenko, who goes in strong on Traore, but it's Traore who comes out with it. Xhaka on halfway, back into his own half to Hume on the far side. Mukiele being closed down by Dewsbury Hall, forced to go back to the goalkeeper of Roofs, who takes a touch towards his own goal. He's just about allowed to clear it, then glanced on by Ronaldo on halfway. But no Sunderland shirt chasing it. And it'll be an Everton ball in their 18-yard area with Jordan Pickford. Yeah, 4 seasons now without a top half finish. Their last best finish of any note was in the 2013-2014 season when they finished 5th on 72 points under Roberto Martinez. 20 seconds left of the half. It's Everton in possession down the far side with Grealish, who loses out to Mukiele. Xhaka forward to Siddiqui, who's caught late by Idrissa Gueye. Free kick for Sunderland, and if they've got time, they might as well just try and get this into the box with a big kick forward. And they're not going to even have a chance to do that. Half-time whistle blown by Thomas Bramall, and at the break at the Stadium of Light, it is Sunderland 0, Everton 1. It's been lively. We've had challenges flying in. A very competitive game of football, but it's certainly Everton who have been the better of the two teams, more so with their chances created, certainly creating better ones than Sunderland, and they almost took the lead after 10 seconds. A long ball forward was nodded down by Tierno Barrett, and from around 20 or so yards out, Garner hit it first time left-footed. It was just curling away from goal, but it was certainly a warning sign for Sunderland, and they couldn't stop this warning and this danger of Iliman Ndiaye. 15 minutes in, collecting the ball on the right-hand side, skipping beyond multiple players before finding the finish into the top left corner, side netting, no chance for Robin Roofs to save. And despite Sunderland having more of the ball, it's been Everton with the better chances, yet to test Pickford. That will need to change in the second half as it stands. Going into the break, it's Sunderland 0, Everton 1. Definitely the right result so far. Everton do deserve to be in the lead. Sunderland definitely growing into the game and becoming a bit better within the last 10 or 15 minutes of the half. Of course, Sunderland are the team with the confidence. Especially at home as well. They've not lost at home yet. Played 1-3 against West Ham, Brentford and Wolves. Again, teams that are kind of going to be in that lower half of the table, and then drawing to Aston Villa in game week 5. The last time they lost at home was on the last day of the Championship campaign on the 3rd of May in terms of the regular season, when they lost 1-0 to QPR. But yeah, winning 3 of their last 4 in the league, Sunderland, against Forest, Wolves and Chelsea, and then picking up that defeat before the October international break to Manchester United at Old Trafford. They'd start the season with the back 4, but against Chelsea they went to a 5 and it worked. And they've kept it for today. Potentially it could be a bit of a reshuffle for Regis Lebris going into the second half, maybe going back into a 4. Certainly grew into the game though, towards the end. But Everton still looking half a threat themselves. Probably should have made it 2-0 with Tierno Barry midway inside the half. It was a cross into the far post by Grealish. And literally from a couple of yards at the far stick, Barry met it, but he just bounced in front of him and he just got under it and sent it flying over the crossbar. Try and have a look what commentary I can do next week, if possible. Last couple of weeks I've had to do the Monday night games because it just works better for myself. I'm busy on Sunday, unless there's a late Sunday game, which there isn't usually. It's usually a late game on a Saturday, which has been quite good to watch. Chelsea Wolves, the Saturday 8 o'clock game. There's some big games. Like I'm busy on the Sunday, so I can't do Manchester City Liverpool, which would be a huge game. There is another Monday night football, Cheltenham Notts County. Do I fancy that? Can I put myself through watching Cheltenham against Notts County? I'm not entirely sure. Potentially. I know Cheltenham have picked it up since they brought back Steve Cottrell, I think, is the manager. And I know Notts County got knocked out on penalties at the weekend against Brackley. Was it Brackley? I can't remember. I watched the penalty shootout. It was Brackley, yeah. Conceded the last minute penalty and it all went a little bit south for them. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of which commentary to do next. Can't do them as regularly as I used to, which is a shame, but what can you do? Not much you can do. Potentially, I can't do Thursday night. Ooh. I'm telling you, work, it makes it difficult to commentate on the games you want to. It might have to be that Monday night game, genuinely. It might have to be Cheltenham Notts County, which I'm not against. I'll commentate on any game, any division. I've done League 2, League 1. I don't mind. Yeah, it just is what it is. It really is. So, more than likely, it'll be another Monday night commentary coming from myself next weekend. If you're interested in Cheltenham Notts County, might bring in some different viewers for that one. But it looks like it will more than likely have to be that Monday night game, just because I'm busy on the Sunday. If I wasn't busy on the Sunday, probably would have done one of the 2 o'clock kickoffs, because obviously they televise all of them now. So there's Villa Bournemouth, which would be a good game. Brentford Newcastle, again a good game, and then Palace Brighton, the derby, and then Forest Leeds. Probably would have done Palace Brighton really, but no, Monday night game it'll be. But for Sunderland, again, it's almost they're in a bit of a sticky situation in terms of they've started so well that when they eventually start losing a couple of games, which they will do, they will start losing some games. You know, they've only lost twice so far this season, which has been a really impressive start for them. That can't be overlooked, but you just don't want to get too excited, and then when you start losing, kind of be deflated by it. You just got to keep behind your team, because don't get me wrong, they've had to play and beat some difficult teams, but they've got Arsenal next on Saturday at home, and then they've got Fulham away, which is always a difficult place to go. I know they've not started very well, but they've got a very solid Premier League team, and if they start clicking, then that'll be a dangerous game. And then Bournemouth at home, you know, they were second yesterday. I think they dropped to third after being beaten by Manchester City. So it's just one of them with Sunderland, because they've started so well. If they do start dropping points, you can't get too down or lose too much confidence just because you're slipping down the table. You know, this narrative and conversation could all change in the second half if they go on and win and put themselves up into second. And even a point would put them up into fourth as well. But they've definitely got to switch on. And again, it just seems really disjointed, the performance. That's kind of the word I'd use for it. Of course, not always using this back five system. It worked brilliantly against Chelsea, but they'll still be adapting to it slightly, especially against a different kind of opposition to Chelsea, this Everton side, who have only won one of their last 7 in all competitions. Did win 2 of their first 3 games against Brighton at home and Wolves away, and then losing their first game of the season, which was a Monday night game as well, to Leeds. We commentated on that one. Pretty difficult watch overall. Leeds winning via a penalty from a little bit of a controversial penalty from a Tarkowski handball, but a win for Everton would really lift their spirits. I think it's been a very just mediocre start to the season in terms of drawing games. Maybe they should win against like West Ham's at home. In terms of their losses, they're not exactly embarrassing teams to lose against. They got beat by Liverpool away, of course Leeds on the opening weekend, but that was Leeds' first game back in the Premier League again at Elland Road. It was always going to be difficult. But then losing to Liverpool away, Manchester City away, and then Spurs at home, it's not exactly, they're not bad defeats, but at the start of the season when you're not picking up those points, it can just feel a little bit deflating that you're not, up there early on, kind of to build your hopes up. But if they can gradually start picking up more 3 points, then I think Everton could definitely be in the top half as a minimum, chasing for the European spots. I'm not entirely convinced so far, but we are going to be back underway for the second half in a couple of minutes' time. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in. Make sure we stick around for the second half because we're going to get a fight back from Sunderland, and we'll have to see if Everton can see them off and take the 3 points back to Merseyside. 6-hour round trip for Everton from Merseyside to Sunderland and then back again. I think the biggest talking point of the half-time will be if Sunderland change their system, if they go to a 4 at the back instead of a 5. See if that brings any substitutions if they do that. But the goal just completely highlighting how good Iliman Ndiaye is at this level. Spent 3 years at Boreham Wood from 2016 to 2019, then found his way through to Sheffield United. He won their Players' Player of the Year and Player of the Year in the 22-23 season when they went up from the Championship back into the Premier League. Didn't quite work out for him at Marseille, not staying there for very long and then returning to England to play for Everton, but he's now got 2 goals in his last 7 in the Premier League. Just 1 in his last 6 before today, and that was in the win against Crystal Palace a month ago. And for Everton, it'll just be more of the same. They've got a relatively strong bench. Really, they've got Beto, who can be a straight swap for Barry. Dwight McNeil, who've got lots of Premier League experience, played over 200 games in the league, only at the age of 25. They've got their summer signing of Tyler Diblin, who's not quite settled in as of yet. A couple of midfield options, another signing on loan at the start of the season, obligation to buy of Merlin Roll from Freiburg. Carlos Alcaraz, who they made a permanent deal in the summer. Also Tim Irabunum, who's still waiting for his first goal for Everton. So the second half will be getting underway now in a minute's time. And there they are, showing a little bit of a clip from Baller League. Obviously, I think 5-a-side, is it? 5-a-side, 6-a-side league with the YouTubers and the former Premier League players as managers. It's not exactly my bag, to be honest. Each to their own. Won't catch me watching it on a Monday night. I'd rather watch proper football. But to be fair, some of the names I see playing that Baller League are absolutely mad. Like Stephen Ireland, I've read last week. Niasse, just Jack Colback, I think, is in for this week. There is an FA Cup game as well being played. Tamworth of the National League, who got as far as, I can't remember what round it was. I think it was the third round. Was it fourth? Third or fourth? I think it was the third round against Tottenham last season and were beaten in extra time. They've got Leyton Orient, who are in League One, so 2 division difference, and that's 0-0 70 minutes in. The FA Cup draw was made before that game, so whoever wins that game between Tamworth and Leyton Orient will go and travel to beautiful Salford. What a trip for any team to make, straight into Manchester. As it looks like both sets of players are back out for the second half. Not sure if any subs have been made yet. We'll have to wait and see. Don't think there has been. But there's certainly changes Regis Lebris can make if he's not satisfied with the starts his team makes to this second half. So it'll be Sunderland to kick off this time with Granit Xhaka kicking left to right, Everton right to left. He goes to his goalkeeper, Robin Roofs, who gets it onto his left foot and then clears it forward. Down the Sunderland left, it's a free header for Njai. Helped on by Idrissa Gueye, who will chase his own header. Dealt with at the back by Renildo. It's now Ballard at right centre-back. Sticking with that back five at the moment, the home side. Renildo. Lifting it forward towards the edge of the area for the run of Isidore. Keeps it away from Keane for the moment. And playing it backwards into Lefay. Inside to Xhaka, who drifted to the left-hand side. Back into Lefay. Into the box he goes. Can he work a shot? He can. It's deflected off Garner. Straight back to him. Then he lays it off for Xhaka and it deflects in. Off the crossbar. And Sunderland didn't take long to get that equaliser. Granit Xhaka with his first goal for the club. And what a monumental signing he has been for the Black Cats in their return to the top flight. In a flash, they're back on level terms. Whatever Regis Lebris said at half-time clearly had its desired effect. Renildo down the left channel with the original ball. Isidore kept it away from Keane, played it back into Lefay. Quickly first time touch into Xhaka, then returned it to the Frenchman, who was in the box. He got his shot away, deflected back to him, and then he laid it off to Xhaka, who on the edge of the area. Got the left-footed shot towards goal. Deflected off the left foot of Tarkowski onto the underside of the crossbar and in. Potentially, if Tarkowski had left it, I reckon Pickford would have saved that. But he wasn't to know. Tried to get in the way. And instead of sending it away from goal, he put it into the goal. And within a minute of the second half, it is Sunderland 1, Everton 1. Xhaka with his first in Sunderland colours. He comes in, takes the captain's armband, and is single-handedly getting Sunderland high up this table. Played every minute so far. Picked up 3 assists already this season. But that's his first goal. That will leave David Moyes very frustrated. A sloppy goal to concede. Not being switched on like they were in the first half, allowing Xhaka to get that shot off on the edge of the area. Dewsbury Hall just not quite quick enough to get in the way, and Sunderland have already won it back once more. Siddiqui, Lafay, Xhaka returning it to Lafay, who will shoot, and again it deflects, and Pickford can save this time. And O'Brien kicks it out for a corner. Lafay again linking up with Xhaka. This time it deflects off Isidore, so at least it wasn't his own player. Pickford did well to readjust, diving to his right. Lafay. Corner headed away, headed back in by Hume. On once more by Traore. And then another header. Isidore, does he touch it with his hand? Potentially. Referee says no for now. And Grealish can clear that there's an offside flag up there anyway. Sunderland have come out quickly in this second half. Don't think Everton quite know what's hit them in the opening 4 minutes. So from the free kick from the offside, Pickford kicks up towards Barry. Header won by Ballard. Lafay into Renildo. Into Hume, who's kind of drifted into a central midfield position. He goes back into Ballard. Got to remember as well, for Sunderland, they spent 4 years in League One. It's a lot of time in League One. And then just the 3 years in the Championship. Their progress into the Championship was slowed down by a playoff defeat in 2019 in the final to Charlton, I believe, if my memory serves me right. And then they won the League One playoff eventually in 2022 to Wickham. I know that because I've got it wrote down right next to me. Pickford, outside of his box, being closed down by Isidore, can lift it down the left-hand side towards Grealish. Header won by Mukiele towards Traore. Loses out to Michael Keane. Now Adrissagay out wide to the right side to Njai on the halfway. Keeps it moving, going back inside to Gate. It's now Mikalenko. Grealish. Driving inside, then back heeling it into Garner, who takes over. Now Mikalenko back into Garner. First time Everton have really got a foot on the ball in this second half after Sunderland equalising within about 50 seconds. Tarkowski. Finding O'Brien the right back. Quick 1-2 with Njai. It's now with Tarkowski. Time on the ball here for the captain, who diverted it into the goal via the crossbar for the equaliser. On the ball once more. Pickford goes to Keane. Sunderland pressing high. Traore on his toes. Just about keeps it away from him. And then playing it into the midfield to Dewsbury Hall. He's then tackled by Hume. Loose ball drops to Siddiqui in the centre circle. He's got options left and right. Kind of spoilt for choice and eventually has to go back to Gertrude and then to the goalkeeper after Dewsbury Hall was working hard to try and win it back for the away side. Within the last kind of 10 minutes of the first half, Sunderland were just starting to turn the game around, and they kind of continued that momentum straight into the second half, clearly, with the way they scored within 50 seconds through Granit Xhaka. First ever goal against Everton for Granit Xhaka. Mukiele with the cross. O'Brien with the header away at the far post. Barry can't quite hold on. Xhaka straight in there to win it back. Lafay's touch. Slightly loose. Picked up by Garner, and then he runs into traffic once more. It's now Traore, one-on-one with Mykolenko. Thinking about the left foot, then turning onto his right. Keeping it alive, try to play inside towards Lefay. Cut out, but deflects to Mukiele. Dewsbury Hall gets a foot in. Sliding and slipping, both of them are. Eventually, Dewsbury Hall comes out with the ball. Grealish caught late by Hume. And that'll be a yellow card and a free kick. Ball was there to be won. Grealish just slightly too quick. And there's a bit of afters between Hume and Grealish. Being separated by Bertrand Traore, a former teammate of Grealish at Aston Villa. I think Grealish has got every right to be slightly frustrated. It is a late challenge. He was kind of sandwiched between Hume and Mukiele. Yeah, caught late. Very simple decision of a free kick and a yellow card. I don't really see the complaints. So, yellow card for Trey Hume, the Northern Ireland captain, at the age of 23. As it looks like Everton are going to make an early second half change. David Moyes has seen enough of Tierno Barry, who could have had a goal, actually should have had a goal in the first half, 26th minute. And he knows he's coming off, shaking his head already as we get back underway. Everton send it long from the free kick. Tarkowski heads it into the area. Grealish chasing it with Hume. Hume tries to see it out, but Grealish keeps it in. And keeps it away from Hume, right on that corner flag. Xhaka coming over and takes him down. And that'll be a free kick. Seeing the tempers starting to flare slightly. Xhaka coming straight over as soon as Grealish got the better of Hume. And Xhaka was either taking the ball or the man. There was no in between. And it's a free kick right near the corner flag for Everton. So a good angle to get a ball into the area. They're not going to make the change yet, Everton. 10 minutes into the second half. Barry still on. 6'5", the Frenchman. So plenty of height for Everton to aim at with him. And Tarkowski and Keane and O'Brien as well. So it's going to be an in-swinger from Ghana. To the near post. It's deflected away towards Grealish on the edge of the area, who goes all the way back here to Mykolenko, who then puts the ball in towards the box here with Tarkowski, who touches it to Ghana. Left-footed low ball in, comes off Mukiele, and that'll be a throw-in for Everton, still in the final third. Will they make that substitution yet with Beto? And they will. Cutting a disappointed figure, Tierno Barry, but it's just not quite worked for him. Showing that chance he had in the first half, he's more shinned it, which has sent it flying over the crossbar. That would have been his first goal for the club. And then since then, he's kind of been bullied by Ballard for the majority. So a frustrating start to his Everton career, replaced by Beto, who's on for his 70th Premier League appearance, scoring 12 in his previous 69. Had started 6 of the last 7 in the league. Long throw from Mykolenko to the near post. Header won by Mukiele. Another throw in the final third. And I'll take a wild guess it'll be Mykolenko to take once more. As Leyton Orient have took the lead away at Tamworth. Throwing goes in and it's a Roof's catch on the line. And he wants to try and set his team off as quickly as possible. No clear option on as of yet. And eventually rolls it to the left to Renildo, but Everton can get their bodies back in position. Ballard bringing it into the Everton half. Forward to Isidore. Lays it off for Xhaka, and then first time ball lifted to the right side towards Traore. Touches it into the box, header away by Ghana. It's now with Grealish. Got a bit of a target on his back now after those crunching tackles from a couple of the Sunderland players. It's cleared by Mykolenko. Over the head of Beto. Sorry, he's just replaced Barry. And it's Sunderland to restart. They've been, like I say, since probably around the 35th minute, they've been the team on top. Everton played well for the first 35, but have just not been able to deal with this Sunderland onslaught. Mukiele in a right wing position 1-on-1 with Michael Keane. Playing it into the middle for Xhaka. Out wide once more to Renildo. Finds Lefay, everything to his right. Playing it into Xhaka. Low ball into the area, miscontrolled by Siddiqui. It's now with Gate. Turning away from Siddiqui. And finding Njai. Takes a heavy touch. Ball deflects towards O'Brien, who lifts it over the sliding challenger Lefay. His clearance comes off the Frenchman. And that'll be it's either a throw-in or a goal kick. Can't quite see where that ball ended up rolling out. Will be a throw-in for Everton right next to that corner flag in a right-back position for Jake O'Brien to take. Just less than an hour played. It's Sunderland 1, Everton 1. First half goal from Njai and then a 52nd goal into the second half from Xhaka. Have us all square. Sunderland win it back on that left-hand side already. Renildo. It's now with Gertrude. 17 appearances for the Netherlands. The man on loan from RB Leipzig. The last appearance he made was in June 2025 against Malta. Siddiqui trying to get into the box for Lefay. Well cut up by O'Brien. But a bad ball. Looking for Garner. It's now with Xhaka. Loses out to Dewsbury Hall as he was slightly off balance. Dewsbury Hall slips it through towards Beto. Well cut out and in tackle by Ballard. He had to get that right because Beto was in one-on-one. Played superbly so far in this game. Dan Ballard. One of the main reasons why Barry got subbed off because he was just getting the better of the Everton striker pretty much every single time. Ball bouncing around in the centre circle. Xhaka pulled down by Idrissa Gueye. And that'll be a free kick for the home side. Seven wins in his previous 12 against Everton for Xhaka. Just one of them was at Goodison Park. And that was a 5-2 win back in October 2017. Not a good sight for Everton as it's Iliman Njai who's actually down, struggling with his left leg. Not exactly sure where on his left leg, if it's a muscle or just a bit of cramp. But that would be a huge loss. He's the reason they've scored tonight. Iliman Njai with that solo run. Back to his feet. So maybe just a bit of a timeout potentially for Njai. Or is it something more serious? Does look like it is something more serious. What a huge blow this is for Everton. They're trying to see when it was, and I think it was a challenge from Siddiqui. Just a slight kick on the leg. Obviously causing discomfort. And Njai is having to be replaced by Dwight McNeil. It's the last thing David Moyes wanted to do. That's not downplaying Dwight McNeil's ability because he is a proven Premier League player, but Iliman Njai's just got something about him. So it looks like Dwight McNeil will more than likely have to play on the right wing to keep Grealish on the left. So in the centre circle, it's a Sunderland free kick. It was won by Xhaka. It'll be taken by Xhaka. Clips it in towards the left-hand side. Ballard and O'Brien battling. It drops to Renildo with the shot. Blocked by Tarkowski. Away by Idrissa Gueye. Sorry, Siddiqui, who volleys it back in. Touched by Hume. Traore left-footed. Deflects once more off Tarkowski. And wide it goes. Almost a second time Tarkowski's deflected it into his own goal. But the first shot with Renildo, that went away from goal. And the second block Has forced a corner. Just need it away in the end. In it goes. Header won by Beto. Drops to Siddiqui. Back out wide to Xhaka, who took the original corner off the face of Mykolenko. Throwing for Sunderland on this near side. They have got a long throw in with Mukiele. .63 played. Still Sunderland 1, Everton 1. It's going to go right in towards that 6-yard box. In it goes. Headed on and away. Dropped in the box and eventually cleared by Tarkowski. Shouts of handball once more. Didn't quite see anything myself. And Siddiqui has to head away for an Everton throw-in. Game will be stopped to have a look. Throw-in goes in. Headed on by Ballard. Then off Tarkowski. It comes off like the chest of Gay. Then onto his arm. Didn't really know anything about it. Completely unintentional. And yeah, waved away by VAR, who is Michael Salisbury tonight. Tarkowski clears long. Ballard with the diving header away. McNeil's first touch of the ball. He's clipped by Ronaldo. And not seen as a foul. Must have got the ball. Lefay just behind Siddiqui. And Everton have it back. O'Brien, who slips at right back. Siddiqui has it back. Try to keep it away from Gate. Tackled. O'Brien tries to clear it. Comes off Lefay. Goal kick for Everton. 25 minutes left to go. Plus added on time. Sunderland all over Everton. Can't get out of their own half here. The away side. Won 6 of their 19 away games last season, Everton. 3 of them came in the last 4. They did lose 4 of their first 7 on their travels. Mykolenko forced to go back to Pickford. Faced Newcastle 14 times, Sunderland's rivals. Won 5 of them. No clean sheets now, though, for Everton in their last 6 league games, as the last touch comes off McNeil there as he tries to kick it away. And that is a throw-in for Sunderland. Ronaldo battling with McNeil. Last touch off the substitute again. Another throw-in for Sunderland. And it's close enough now for a long throw. Scored from one last weekend against Chelsea. That one was finished by Isidore. They wouldn't mind a similar result this time around. Mukiele towards the near post. Header won by Beto. Volleyed into the air by Dewsbury Hall. Xhaka is the one who's going to have to meet it, and he heads it down brilliantly for Lefay. On that left wing towards the final third. Turning one way then the other to keep it away from Gate. Hume. Left footed. It comes off the hand of O'Brien. Did seem close to his body. So waved away by the referee. But another throw-in for Sunderland by Mukiele. He'll go right in towards that near post. There's a quarter of the game left to go. Sunderland in the ascendancy so far. Everton look a little bit lost for ideas of what to do. Ball goes in, looped in, headed down by Tarkowski and again volleyed by Dewsbury Hall. And this time it's a bit further away. Bounces into the Sunderland half, controlled by Roofs. Being closed down by McNeil. Kicks it away down the centre of the pitch, but straight to Gay, who heads it forward out wide left to Grealish. Traore getting back to help his team defend, and he gets it back easily. A bit too easily. Then inside to Isidore, who battles with Garner. Ball loops up in the air. Xhaka misses the volley. Controlled by McNeil, but then tackled by the Swiss international. It's now Siddiqui. To Traore, loses out from behind by Mykolenko. Bit too aggressive. Sunderland free kick. 67.5 minutes play, still 1-1. Sunderland are trying to win their 3rd Premier League game in a row. Beat Wolves here last time out by 2-0. Then Chelsea on their travels last weekend. And something I've noticed about Sunderland, they don't usually make changes too early. Still got all 5 subs left. Ballard, high and long down the right-hand side. Traore chasing. Mikalenko will get there first, but can only kick it out for a throw-in, which sometimes, these days, are probably worse than corners. With the rebirth of the long throw. It's going to be Mukiele again. He's played every minute in the Premier League since joining. Throw in, headed away. Kept alive though by Xhaka. He was being closed down by Grealish. It's with their goalkeeper Roofs. Goes long. Up towards Hume. It bounces into the area and it's Pickford's ball. Rolls it through the middle to Garda. It's now on the far side to O'Brien. We're still in the Everton half. Restarts with Tarkowski. Just the 2 England caps to his name. Both in 2018, and they were both against Xhaka in Switzerland. Forever present for Everton, usually. He'd made 111 successive starts in the Premier League before his injury in April of this year. At the back end of last season, Pickford long, headed up in the air by Mukiele. Headed out wide by McNeil. And it will drop to Ronaldo and not O'Brien. Plays it forward to Siddiqui. Turns away from one, then plays it to Ronaldo, then back into Lafay. Just over 20 minutes left to go. Mukiele. Out to the right to Traore. First time ball into the edge of the box. Headed away by Keane. Up towards Beto. Headed out of play by Ballard. Not taking any chances. And that'll be an Everton ball in their own half. David Moyes, of course, once off Sunderland. His only career relegation was with this club, unfortunately. Leaving in 2017. This is his 550th game in charge of Everton. 42% win rate, not to be sniffed at all. He has won 14 of his previous 22 against Sunderland, 6 of them away from home. He's lost against them twice. Both away as Isidore gets a shot away, wide and high, towards the near post. Yeah, lost against them in April 2013 when he was in charge of Everton, and then lost also here with Manchester United in the League Cup semi-final, which over 2 legs knocked Manchester United out. Sunderland went on to play Manchester City and they did lose that one in the end. You might remember that famous Yaya Toure goal at Wembley. First time strike. Top left corner. Barini got the first goal. He's at Salford now, Fabio Barini, in League 2. Pickford, big kick up towards Beto, who's not been involved at all since coming up, and he commits a foul. Pushing Mukiele in the back as he wanted to win the header. Not happy with the decision. Beto, Lisbon-born striker, scored this 8 goals last season in the Premier League. He got 5 in 4 from the start of February towards the end. Gay wins it off Lafay. O'Brien at right back clears it forward beyond the halfway line. Controlled by Ballard. Played forward by Ballard, who's caught as he played it. Still alive for Sunderland. But free kick given instead. Will we get some late drama here at the Stadium of Light? Xhaka into Lafay. Back heels it for Ronaldo. Gets beyond McNeil towards the byline. Crosses. Oh, it's over the head of Isidore. Headed away by Michael Keane. Wow, that was close. Up in the air by Ballard. Grealish misses it. Can be controlled by Mukiele. Not being closed down yet. On the edge of the area. Plays it forward to Siddiqui. To the byline himself. Cuts back. Kicks it off Keane. Is there a hand involved? Referee says no. Points to the corner flag. Assuming that will be checked. We had a couple of calls in the game yesterday between Manchester City and Bournemouth. His arms are slightly to his side, I'd say. Such close as well. They're slightly out. Don't get me wrong, his hands are slightly out. But it's about 2 yards away. So, it's very close. Doesn't give Michael Keane a lot of time to react. VAR are checking. His 2 arms are out to his right side as he turns. He's almost like I don't know, pointing where he should play the ball, like putting his arms out like that. It's strange. It's been waved away. It does hit his hand. I just think that would be harsh, more so for the fact the ball was so close. He was literally a yard away from the ball. So there's not really much Michael Keane could have done. I would have felt hard done by if that was my team anyway. 17 to go before we hit the minute 90. It's going to be an in-swinger from the left boot of Granit Xhaka. Right arm raised. But we've had a delay because Mukiele and the referee are having some words. Dewsbury Hall also involved. Xhaka will deliver right onto the far post where it's headed in, and away it goes by Michael Keane, who's had a pretty solid game, in fairness, for Everton. Of course, not usually a starting centre-back when Branthwaite's fit. As Roof's the goalkeeper. Big kick forward, down the Sunderland left, header won by O'Brien. Controlled by Gertrude. Mukiele, tackled by Gate. Will fall though to Trey Hume, who's on the opposite side. On that left-hand side for Sunderland. Xhaka with the switch. Out towards Traore. It bounces through and out for a throw-in. Well defended there by Vitaly Mykolenko. Another player whose contract's up at the end of the season. They are just about holding on, Everton and David Moyes. Game number 726 in the Premier League for David Moyes. 185 of them now for Everton. Picked up 280 wins. Averages 1.42 points per game. As Grealish can't get the ball forward to a couple of advancing Everton players. It's now Ronaldo on the far side. The touch is heavy. Uses pace to get there ahead of Garner. But then the second touch is also heavy. Garner gets there ahead of him. And then he's took him down, and Ronaldo doesn't think it's a foul. The referee gives it. 15 minutes to go. Sunderland 1, Everton 1. The Toffees literally by the skin of their teeth are keeping in this game. Mykolenko through the middle for Dewsbury Hall in the Sunderland half. Tries to slot it through for McNeil. It just goes behind him. And it can be dealt with by Ronaldo. Cleared by Roofs. Half an opening there for Everton as well. I don't really think the pass was wrong. I think the run was just a bit too giddy from McNeil. He didn't have to go so early. Still yet to have a shot in this second half, Everton, which completely sums up the game so far, especially in the last 40 minutes of the match. It's with Robin Roofs. Finds Dan Ballard at right centre-back. Right-footed curl ball, looking for Isidore, headed down by Keane to Mykolenko. Another lifted ball down the left-hand side, headed away by Ballard. Free ball for Xhaka and allowed to turn. The gap between midfield and attack for Everton is huge, which means he has time to find Traore. Back inside to Xhaka, midway inside the Everton half. He is now the one controlling and dictating the play. Traore to Mukiele. Low ball goes in. Isidore strikes. And I think it comes off his standing leg in the end. Swiped at it, missed it. Off that left leg. And into the very thankful gloves of Jordan Pickford. Good ball in by Mukiele and Isidore in the area. All alone. Stood in between Gay, Garner and Keane. You feel like at least one of them's got to get somewhat close. Thank you to everyone who was in the live stream. Got a decent amount of people in. If you could like and subscribe if you haven't already. That'd be fantastic. My next commentary is again next Monday. Monday just seems to be the day that's easiest for me. And it's a massive game in League 2. It's Cheltenham take on Notts County. Unfortunately, I can't do any Sunday games, so I'll have to do the Monday fixture, which unfortunately isn't a Premier League game. It is in the depths of League 2. But we commentate on anything on this channel, football-wise anyway. It's Tarkowski. Everton looking to just at least get a shot off in this second half. They had plenty in the first, including the goal from Iliman Ndiaye, which gave them the lead in the 15th minute. Tarkowski down the right channel, finds Beto, gets there ahead of Gertrude. Having to just go one way then the other. He's now surrounded, eventually tackled by the number 6, and it's a throw-in for Everton towards the final third on that far side. Looks like they're going to make a double change, Everton. Tim Irabunum and Carlos Alcaraz. Not going to come on yet, but they're being readied. Is Everton going to throw this in along with their 6'6" giant of Jake O'Brien? Huge throw into the area, helped on and sliced away by Mukiele. Corner for Everton. Now this would be quite something if they can nick a lead here late on. Sunderland getting changes ready themselves. Looks like Talby and Broby, the two who linked up for the winner last weekend at Stamford Bridge. But the set piece will be taken first from the substitute and the left winger and the left foot of Dwight McNeil. Only his third Premier League appearance of the season. And he puts it deep into the far post. Tarkowski heads back across. No Everton shirt in sight. But there's a foul off the ball anyway. Sunderland free kick. Wanted to take it quickly there, Robin Roofs. Referee weren't ready as Trey Humes just kind of rubbing his head, feeling a bit of discomfort. Might have been caught there as Tarkowski won the header. Yeah, maybe just caught by the elbow, unintentionally, of course. Tamworth were beaten 1-0 at home to Leyton Orient. So Richie Welland returns to Salford with his Leyton Orient side in the second round. Ballard goes long as he's being pressed by an Everton forward. Out to the right side towards Traore. Header won by Mikalenko. Second header won by Trey Hume. It's now Traore playing it inside, but there's no Sunderland shirt there. Garner in between the lines for McNeil. His touch is straight to Gertrude. Not good enough. Moyes furious. Siddiqui bringing it down the Sunderland left. Laying it off to Lafay. Slowing it down. Finding Xhaka. 10 minutes left to play. Back out wide. Siddiqui allowed onto his right foot. Crosses in. Headed on towards goal. And Pickford can't keep it in his grasp. Into his hands off his thigh. Out for a corner. Trey Hume with the header forward. Maybe nerves there from Pickford. Should have kept hold of that. Full stop. Trey Hume with the header. Might have just been sneaking in. Just couldn't keep hold of it. Maybe too much Vaseline on the Jordan Pickford gloves. 9.5 to play. Full-sided on time. Xhaka again. In-swinger left-footed. It's dangerous. It's headed away. It's to Siddiqui. Finds Xhaka again. First time ball. Oh, it's delicious. And it's headed over. What a chance. Mukiele, who's holding his face. He believes he was caught. Referee's not given anything yet. What a chance to score in back-to-back home games for Nordi Mukiele. Xhaka's first-time ball back in was absolutely fantastic. And as he's gone to win the header, Michael Keane's gone in with his foot. Boot was slightly high. Probably not high enough for a penalty for me. It's kind of what happens when a player goes low with his head. It's always going to make it look worse than it is. Because Keane's boot's probably not that high, but it looks to be higher because Mukiele has gone down going for the header. I think VAR have had a look and have waved it away. And we're going to get changes now for Sunderland first. Their first of the game. So Bertrand Traore comes off. After 4 starts in a row, he'll be replaced by the match winner of last weekend of Shamsdeen Talbot. First goal for the club. And second change, not quite been too involved so far tonight, Wilson Isidore. And he's been swapped out for Brian Broby, £21 million signing from Ajax. He's yet to score, yet to start as well for Sunderland, but did get that vital assist last weekend as Everton are going to make some changes as well. Dewsbury Hall, who's probably the most exciting player for Everton, comes out for Carlos Alcaraz, and there's a switch up in the midfield as O'Brien comes off, so James Garner will go into right back and Tim Irabunum will play alongside Idrissa Gueye in those holding midfield positions. We're restarting. Pickford with a big kick up towards Beto, beyond him and Ballard, and it will bounce through into Robin Roofs in the Sunderland goal, who's had nothing to do in this second half so far, other than having to make a couple of passes here and there. Still with the goalkeeper, just outside the Sunderland 18-yard area. Will we get a match winner before the end of the game? Roofs kicks it to the right side. It's just bounced beyond Mukiele, and that'll be a throw-in for Everton within their own half on this near side in front of the two technical areas of Regis Libris and David Moyes, now at the age of 62. Turns 63 towards the end of April of next year. Throw-in headed away by Mukiele. Battle in midfield between Irabunum. And he wins it. And it's cleared to Grealish. Great touch on that left wing position. Goes into the middle to Alcaraz, the substitute. It's now switched out to the right side to Garner, who slips, but can get beyond his man in Lefay. Actually trips him, does he? No, he actually gets a nick of the ball. And Sunderland win it back, but then lose it. Xhaka can't find Siddiqui. Mikalenko from afar shoots to the near post, saved by Roofs. And it's now with Siddiqui in a right-back position. Clears it down the line. Takes no nick. Everton ball in the final third. Finally a shot, which can be a moment of celebration for the Everton supporters. Mikalenko hit it well. Was always going to be a save for Roofs. It wasn't that much of a dangerous strike, but he does throw it in this time. Mikalenko, it's long, helped on by Keane. Overhead kick attempt from Dwight McNeil, but he's missed it, and it's cleared by Lafay. Void back forward by Garner, headed on by Keane towards Tarkowski. He'll chase it down, but Trey Hume will see it out. And that'll be a goal kick for Sunderland. 5 minutes to go. We're still 1-1 here. 15th minute goal from Iliman Ndiaye, cancelled out about 50 seconds into the second half by Granit Xhaka. A strike deflected onto the underneath of the crossbar and in by Tarkowski. Best commentary by far and nobody here. Yep. Thank you very much for that. It's been a good game, this. For Sunderland anyway. Mikalenko dinking it forward, cleared on the edge of the box by Gertrude. Chested by Irabunum. Surrounded by Sunderland shirts and keeps it away from them all. With a pass to the new right back of Ghana. Keane takes on Talbot. Forward to Alcaraz, now into Gay, all in the Everton half at the moment. Irabunum in the centre circle, being chased from behind by Broby, who gets the slide tackle in. Takes the man before the ball. Free kick for Everton, who would absolutely love to take this one late. They've only won one game away so far this season, Everton. That was to Wolves, who haven't won a game all season themselves, just sacking their manager Vitor Pereira after giving him a 3-year deal about 6 weeks ago. Just shows what circuses can evolve in the Premier League. Wolves, within 5 years, 4 or 5 years, going from, steady European team to on the brink of relegation, and we're only in November. Pickford on the halfway line just kicks it forward for McNeil. Then it's out wide to Grealish. Not the best of worked free kicks, but he takes on his man. Grealish down the left. Crosses straight into the gloves of Roofs. And Sunderland will try and break as quickly as they can. Took his man on well there, Grealish, away from Shemsdean Talbi, the man they brought in from Club Brugge in the summer, for an initial fee of 18 million. But the ball was straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper. 3 minutes plus added on time. Sunderland will want the win here. They've probably earned it in the second half. Mukiele overruns it. Eventually wins the free kick. Former teammate Idrissa Gueye, both of them at PSG for a good spell. About 40, 50 yards away from goal, just towards the right-hand side, and Sunderland are going to see this as an opportunity to get a ball in towards the box. Xhaka takes it quick towards Renildo, headed back across goal. It's very windy, and it's hard to deal with for Ghana, so Alcaraz does it instead. It's now with Gueye. Needs to release it. Not allowed to release it. Held back there by Lefay, who gets away without a booking there. Yeah, just again, can't believe he's not been booked. And I'd have to agree. Clear pull of the arm. And it might be Everton this time to go long. Pickford doesn't want to go long. He's going to have to. Towards the edge of the area, looking for Beto. Beyond him. And it will bounce out for a goal kick. I mean, Barry was struggling, and Beto has as well. They've not exactly played to their strikers' strengths. They've not really been able to get out of their own half, so they're having to go long, and their strikers are up against 3 centre-backs of Mukiele, Gertrude and Ballard, so not really much the Everton strikers can do in this game. Ball drops on the halfway line for Ronaldo. Back to Gertrude, then forward to Ronaldo again. Ballard, plenty of time on the ball, brings it forward, takes it beyond the halfway line and lifts it in behind towards Broby. Header won by Keane, and then a kick out from Keane. Throw in the final third for Sunderland, and again, they can load up that long throw. As we're into the 90th minute of the game. This point will take Sunderland up to 4th. The goal will take them up to 2nd after 10 games played. Ballard being the big nuisance on the 6-yard line for Sunderland. Dan Ballard telling the referee to watch the ball instead of all the pushing and shoving. I'm not sure you should be telling the referee where to look when a throw-in's being taken. I think he needs to have a look at who's grappling onto who. Throw goes in. Headed on towards goal. It has to be cleared by Beto. Grealish will chase it, but Talby gets there first. And we've been given an extra 6 minutes. That's plenty of time for either team to take it. Tarkovsky wins the header from the Roof's ball. McNeil, has he overhit the pass? No, he hasn't. To the right-hand side to Alcaraz. Overhits that touch, though. And then he catches his man. Free kick for Sunderland. Not started many games, Carlos Alcaraz. His last start was away at Manchester City. But then before that was the one away at Leeds on the opening day. Or the opening weekend, should I say. Because Everton played on the Monday night. This would be Sunderland's 10th Premier League win against Everton if they are to score. We've played a minute of the 6 added on. Roofs kicks it high into the sky. Looking for Ballard. Keane wins another header. Headed back forward though by Xhaka. Volleyed by Beto. Controlled by Gay. Try to play it through forward to Alcaraz. Just a bit away from him. And it can be retreated for Sunderland by Trey Hume. Forward to Xhaka, is allowed to turn. Mukiele looking for Broby. Can't quite get it under control, the Dutchman, and Pickford collects. Scored last week, in the week, for the under-21s, Brian Broby against Anderlecht in the Premier League International Cup, which I'd never heard before. Scored. Brian Broby played with Patterson, 09 and Mayenda, who also got some game time for the under-21s. Those are players who not quite got as many minutes in the legs as they probably would have liked to have. But when a team's doing so well, you don't really want to change it too much. 2 minutes of the 6 played. It's Sunderland on the ball, just in their own half. Ronaldo. Across to Ballard, being closed down by Beto. He'll go high and down the Sunderland right. Looking for Talby, off the back of the head of Mikalenko. Throw in for Sunderland, and again, we know what that means. Mukiele comes marching across. They've won 3 of their 4 home games, Sunderland, and the one they didn't win was a draw to Aston Villa. with 10 men, so they probably took that as a positive. They don't want to draw this one. Mukiele throws in, header won again by Beto. Straight back to Mukiele. Gets the ball stuck under his feet slightly, then crosses off the back of Mikalenko. Headed on by Grealish. Siddiqui with time on the ball towards the halfway line. Finds Xhaka. Tries to go forward towards Taulby, but straight to Grealish, who sets away Alcaraz, who's got Gay up there with him. Alcaraz one-on-one with Siddiqui. Tries to get onto his right foot, but Ronaldo's recovered. Drops to Alcaraz. Brings in Garner. Puts it back into Alcaraz. Garner once more. Lifts it into the far post. No one's there. What a chance that was. Real lapse of judgment from Xhaka to give the ball away. But Alcaraz, so poor. Wasn't aware of his surroundings and lost out. He's now fouled his man, but advantage is played because Mukiele brings it away. Down the centre of the pitch, he's got an option to his right at Taulby. Just goes behind him slightly. Taulby crosses in, and Keane again with the header. In the left-back position, Grealish needs to get this gone. He lays off to Mikalenko, then sends it up into the sky. 2 minutes left to play. Xhaka heads it back where it came from. Controlled by Taulby. Good link-up play with Hume. Irabunum with the tackle in, and he wins it. And then plays it to Alcaraz. Goes to the left towards Beto and Irabunum. It's in between both and rolls out for a throw-in. Not the greatest of couple of minutes for Carlos Alcaraz. Could have had a chance to win it and blew it. And then could have set off one of his teammates to win it and blew that one as well. And he's picked up a yellow card for his late challenge just before as Sunderland were on the break. Kind of don't want this game to end. What golden goal can we play? Play until someone scores. Long ball from Sunderland. As the wind looks really heavy. And the ball goes out for a throw-in for Everton. Just over a minute left to go. Everton will definitely take this point. Even though it doesn't really get them anywhere closer to where they want to be. After playing really well in the first half, Everton just haven't been able to deal with this Sunderland just turnaround. Like I say, they weren't great for a lot of the first half. Sunderland kind of turned it around towards the back end of the first half and then just carried on in the second half as Garner throws it up into the air. Helped on by McNeil. Xhaka heads out wide. Ronaldo volleys up into the sky, into the Everton half, where it'll be Keane to win another header. Less than 30 seconds to go. Gertrude to Lafay, who can turn and play it forward to Siddiqui. Irabunum gets away from him. He gets away from Irabunum, but not Tarkowski. Big sliding challenge, last touch off the Sunderland man. Out for a throw-in, and that will probably be that. McNeil has the throw. And before he can even take it, the referee, Thomas Bramall, blows for full time. Regis Lebris and David Moyes shake hands. And it will be the Sunderland head coach who will be the more frustrated out of the two. David Moyes will still have his own frustrations. His team, for the last 65 minutes of that game, completely fell off and just allowed Sunderland to completely dominate. And Sunderland will probably have a lot of their frustration from the first half and how they had to start so slowly. It took them about 35 minutes until they really got into the game. And it was right at the start of the second half where they got their goal as Jordan Pickford applauds the home crowd. Of course, once of Sunderland, Jordan Pickford was here for 15 years before leaving for a record fee for £30 million in the July of 2017. But it was Everton who started the better and took the lead in the 15th minute. Iliman Ndiaye dancing around the Sunderland defence and just on the edge of the area with his left foot, arrowing a shot into the top left corner. No chance for Robin Roofs. And eventually Sunderland got into the game and then the half-time whistle came, but that didn't stop them from continuing their progression in this match with an early goal 50 seconds into the second half. It was Granit Xhaka with a shot on the edge of the area. It came off the boot of Tarkowski, lifted it onto the crossbar, but it was on the underneath of the crossbar and into the back of the net. Sunderland continued to push. Everton didn't have a shot in the second half until about the 80th minute, but Sunderland just couldn't quite get the ball past Jordan Pickford for a second time. They'll settle for a draw. They get themselves up into the top four. Sunderland into fourth position. Level on points with Liverpool, one behind Manchester City in the 7th off Arsenal at the top. They'll have to accept the draw despite frustrations for both, as here at the Stadium of Light it finishes Sunderland 1, Everton 1. Great commentary, cheers mate. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who did tune in. Make sure you like and subscribe before you go. Commentated on 2 Sunderland games now, both of them at home, and they both ended 1-1. Commentated on them when they drew 1-1 with Aston Villa, but again that was a different kind of game. They were down to 10 men for a lot of it. Ronaldo sent off in the first half, and they grafted so hard to get the point, and this time around it just feels like it was the opposite. They started slow, and then by the time they got into the game they were already 1-0 down. They were able to equalise, and no matter how many long throw-ins they had, they just couldn't quite create that big chance to take the game and take the 3 points, get themselves into second. But they'll have to take the point for now as they host Arsenal on Saturday at 5:30, and Everton move on back home to the Hill Dickinson Stadium. They've only lost once there, and they have to try and beat Fulham under their former manager Marco Silva. But thanks to everyone who has tuned in. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. My next commentary will more than likely be this time again next week, but we are waving goodbyes to the Premier League as we'll be commentating on Cheltenham against Notts County of League 2. It's the 8 o'clock kickoff on a Monday. I'm kind of got my hands tied. I've got to do that game, but we'll make it seem a good game. Hopefully it will be. Hopefully it'll be full of goals. We'll wait and see. But thank you to everyone tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe before you go. But here at the Stadium of Light, it was Everton who took an early lead through Iliman Ndiaye, a fantastic individual goal, and Everton continued to dominate the game for the next 20 or so minutes. Back end of the first half, Sunderland grew back into the game, and within the first minute of the second half, they got their equaliser through Granit Xhaka, who scored his first goal for the club. They continued to push for the winner, just didn't quite come for them in the end. Everton hold on. Sunderland left frustrated as it ends here at Sunderland, at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Everton 1.